The National Community-Based Natural Resources Management CBNRM Forum was one of the recipients of the Shift the Power Program's Catalyst Fund grant. Prior to the grant, the organization planned to support communities living around Malawi's wildlife parks and game reserves. CBNRM aims to help communities and associations living close to these parks manage their resources better. Like most small organizations, CBNRM faced challenges in convincing donors to support their community-led initiatives. Donors were usually reluctant to lend their support because of institutional and governance weaknesses.
There is a question of accountability. In order for us to account for the resources that we receive, we have to have systems to track every penny that is on the financial management side. Then we need to have systems to ensure that the impact and the activities are recorded.
To address this challenge and unlock financing for the organization, CBNRM used a grant that they had won under the Shift the Power Governance Catalyst Fund to register with local authorities and immediately initiated the process of setting up strategies, policies and plans to guide the institution's operations and win the confidence of its development partners. The results were immediate.
And when I told them we are registered, they asked me, please, just send us a 3-4 page proposal and then we will send you the money. And I told them, look, we are a new organization, no systems, no what. So please, I want the money to be unconditional so that we can use it for whatever we want to set up the forum. So they said, for sure, as long as we can have accountability at the end.
The improvement in the institution's success was attributed to a capacity-building initiative provided by the Catalyst Fund, a financial package aimed at enhancing local CSOs' operations and income diversification. This initiative is a collaboration between the Tilitonse Foundation, Comic Relief, and the UK's Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office through UK Aid. The fund was part of the Shift the Power program, aimed at strengthening civil society in Malawi, allowing local CSOs to better fulfill their roles by addressing organizational development needs, such as legislation and structural adjustments. The Catalyst Fund marks the beginning of this program, which will also include the Civil Society Strengthening Fund and the Community Resource Matching Fund.
The first objective is to strengthen and develop the capacity of local CSOs so that they are resilient and independent to effectively execute their respective mandates. And the other one is to help these local CSOs to develop viable proposals for funding under the Civil Society Strengthening Fund. And the last one is to help those organizations that have demonstrated the need for support so that they can put up winning proposals in the Civil Society Strengthening Fund.
To qualify for the fund, the CSOs had to be implementing a development initiative or project to solve problems in their communities. Under the program, local civil society organizations assess their organizations to identify gaps. The CSOs use a self-assessment tool to identify weaknesses in how they manage their institutions, from keeping financial records to setting up boards to provide oversight and policies to protect their employees.
The people themselves have to determine what they want because they are better positioned to know their needs than external players. So with Shift the Power program, that's how things are being done. Even in terms of creating these tools that we're talking about, the application template, the self-assessment template, we created them together through a co-creative exercise. So it's not just us as Tilitonse Foundation and the donors that are supporting us coming up with these documents. No, it's them and us together because we have to come and own these together.
Makanjira Foundation, Youth Initiative for Community Development YCOD, and Concerned Youth Organization leveraged the support obtained through the Catalyst Fund to train their boards to provide better oversight of their institutions.
It's very important that board members should be trained. And for us, I think we are not at a stage that we can be in a comfort zone to say our board has been trained, because these capacity building trainings ought to be done regularly so that board members should be able to, be conversant with the corporate governance issues, and how they can properly provide their oversight role to the organization.
The support was intended to address the gaps that we identified during the self-assessment form. So these gaps were to do with organizational governance, structure, as well as communities and linkages.
You could further use the project support to improve how it collects and manages data, a development that has improved its capacity to address mental health challenges in data and other project areas.
This Catalyst Fund has helped us to generate mental health data, which is going to help us in terms of sourcing funds with regards to mental health, that is from the Civil Society Strengthening Fund or even from other donors.
The training also helped the institutions better align their development initiatives with the goals and objectives of the donors.
We were able to look at the organization, the strengths and weaknesses, and even the gaps that are there. So some of the areas that were identified are issues of policy, issues of maybe M&E, issues of even human resource, financial management, the governance, and all aspects that the organization needs to focus on. So some of the areas were being identified, and what we are doing to implement is to align ourselves to donor requirements.
6 months from the launch of the Catalyst Fund, these little pockets of change in the institutional setup and governance structures in local CSOs have unlocked funding opportunities for CSOs much like they did for CBNRM.
The most big funding that maybe we had for a year has been maybe 20 million, 21 million, the largest grant that we have had. But just immediately when we carried out and completed this exercise, we have so many grants. As we are talking, there is that Oxfam in Malawi, where we are implementing a project in Mchinji. Just 3 months, they gave us 28 million plus. We have even Save the Children. They came also in August to do the capacity assessment. They have given us a grant for 18 months, 67 million.
The organization is membership based, so we mobilize resources within the community and of course from members of our members of diaspora. So in 2020 we had a decline in terms of membership, but when Tilitonse came to support, with the community engagement, we have managed to beef up the numbers. Yeah, now we are able to generate say about 600,000 per month. Yeah, both in Malawi and in diaspora, which is not a mean achievement to us.
And more is yet to come. Tilitonse is optimistic that the enhanced capacity in these institutions will empower them and put them in a position to qualify for grants that will be dispersed through the Civil Society Strengthening Fund, expected to roll out in 2024. With improved funding, there is hope that local organizations will be better equipped to achieve their development objectives, from ensuring sustainable environmental management, eradicating gender-based violence, and ending poverty in their communities. The achievements shared in all are as a result of initiatives each organization proposed itself that were varied and tailor-made per each organization's need. A uniform approach to capacity development may work sometimes, but may not speak to the individual needs of each organization.